we're gonna get arrested. First 5-10 minutes in Japan, we're gonna get arrested.
Home isn't just a place. It's the people, the flavors, and the moments we share. From my southern roots to island life in Hawaii, and now to the heart of Japan, I'm embracing the beauty of new beginnings. Let's learn, explore, and cook together, one heartfelt adventure at a time.
I was like, oh, out the window. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord, for just greeting us with just a beautiful sky and beautiful weather. I mean, it was cold, but it was still beautiful. It wasn't rainy. It was just like, oh, it was really gorgeous. And so we park. And then they told us, okay, we're going to be exiting down the stairs. Be careful with your luggage. And then I look out my window and I see a plane. It was a Japan Airlines plane. And it looked like this futuristic tunnel coming out of the plane over the little stairs. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because we had heavy backpacks and heavy, carry-ons. That's going to be interesting. And so, yeah, so we basically just went out the plane. We were just parked, like out in the airport, not by the terminal, not even close to the terminal. And everybody just filed out down the stairs. And then we went from the stairs, and then there are these shuttle buses. They're called airport limousines. And the Japanese, the Japanese drivers, they were just, like greeting us and, telling us, where to go. And it was just so sweet. And then got on those, and we drove, 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 and we drove. And I'm like, oh my goodness, where are we going? And Kevin's like, where are we going? And I'm like, okay. So they parked, and then we exited, and then went into a building, and then had to follow the escalator and all that, follow the crowd to, but then when we got up the escalator, there was the bathrooms. And I'm like, hey, I really gotta go to the bathroom. So we parked our stuff, and I had my first experience with a real Japanese bathroom. It was amazing. The seat was heated, and it was really cool because they have a little speaker, and it plays like ocean sounds while you're going to disguise you're going to the bathroom sounds. I don't know how to more PC say that, but it was so interesting. And it's like motion detected, so the minute that you got near it, it started playing that sound so that others couldn't hear you, doing your business. I was like, oh, that is so cool. And then it had all these other buttons, and I was like, I'm not brave enough yet to experiment with the water and all the stuff. So that's for another time, another video. Stay tuned. Yeah, it was so cool. It was so cool. And I'm like, okay, we're in Japan. This is interesting. So then they fill out. So on the plane, they gave us these two, you had to fill one out for each person. And it's kind of like your arrival card, with all your information, saying that you're arriving. And then they gave us a customs form to fill out. And so then we went to our line. The gentleman took our passports and took Kevin's orders, and they were supposed to stamp my passport and Kevin's passport. So we're supposed to get 2 stamps, one for me, one for him. We have 2 passports. We have a tourist passport, which is blue, and a government passport, which is a burgundy color. And so we just gave them both. On my name, you had to find my name on the orders to make sure that I was supposed to be coming with my husband. And so then they took my passports, they laid them down, they stamped. I couldn't really see over his desk, but I saw him like stamp. Da 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 da. He gave me back mine. To Kevin's, da 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 da, stamp. Passed him back. Okay, good to go, right? He's like, you know, you're good, go, go. So we went through, and then we went to customs, which was nothing. We just handed them the form. They didn't ask questions. They didn't look at anything. They were like, I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. I was kind of nervous going through customs, and I guess because I'd gone to China previously, and that was kind of nerve-wracking, like going through the customs in China, but it was nothing. I just like, okay, thank you. So we went through, and then boogada, you know, we'd gotten all of our luggage, and we had 7 huge pieces of luggage, our backpacks, and our 2 huge, heavy, rolly carry-ons. That is another story, because we had all of our shipments picked up, and then after they all got picked up, then we're like, that was supposed to go in the shipment. That was supposed to go in the shipment. That. So our luggage kept increasing as we kept discovering things that we had intended to pack and just have shipped that, you know, we won't get for like a month to 4 months. Going through the airport, we go through customs, and we each have one of those little rolly things, and it's like literally packed like Jenga on the thing, and like, I don't know, I'm surprised. I don't know how it all just didn't go tumbling down. So we get through, and then we get to the doors that are like, do not enter, exit, no re-entry. Like, you are leaving the secured area, do not come back in. So we're like, okay, we have all of our stuff. Yay, okay, let's go find our friend who's picking us up. So we exit through the doors, the do not enter doors, and there's this cool, beautiful sign, welcome to, you know, Tokyo, you know, welcome to Japan or whatever. And I'm like, oh, Kevin, let's take our picture. Let's get our picture. Oh, we're in Japan. We gotta take a picture here. And we got this lovely lady who said, can I take a picture? And then in that instant, Kevin starts flipping through his passport. Didn't have a passport stamp. The guy did not stamp his passport. He had only stamped mine, even though we saw him like do the motion like he was stamping it. And so we started freaking out. Well, I didn't start freaking out because I didn't realize how big of a deal it was. I was like, picture, let's get our picture. And my husband's like freaking out. He's like, I have to have that stamp. I'm in the country illegal. I've got to have that stamp. Oh no, what do we do? How do we get back in? We know nothing about this airport. We know nothing about what to do. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just try to get back in the doors. The do not get back indoors. Oh gosh. We waited until someone started coming out of the doors. And then we booked it in. We just went as fast as we could, and we went inside with our luggage things. And the police, of course, are right there at the doors, and they're like, and they were like yelling lots of Japanese stuff at us, and I have no idea, but it was probably stop, you can't enter, what are you doing, stop, I don't know. And I'm like, stamp, and they were like, da. So they made us like put our luggage over to the side. One gentleman kind of spoke a little broken English, and I was like, oh, stamp, I have stamp. He does not have stamp. So we were like, I was trying to keep it simple because I was like, oh, I don't know Japanese, and I don't want to be rude and expect him to understand me. So I was trying to kind of meet halfway. And so the guy was like, okay, come with me. Leave your stuff, come with me. So we left everything. And I'm like, well, I hope what everybody's told me about Japan is true, because everybody said it's super, super safe. We follow him, and then we get to where, after we, got our stamp, and then we passed through the first gate, there's a customs. So there was another like secure barrier. Well, he goes backwards through the barrier, and he's motioning me to come. So I start through, and the police right there were like, stop! Starts like, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna get arrested. We're gonna get arrested. First 5-10 minutes in Japan, we're gonna get arrested. He communicated to her that we needed a stamp, and so then she comes out. She also did not speak English. And again, we don't speak a lick of Japanese, which is very sad, and I hope to change that. And so I showed her stamp, his no stamp, and the orders, and she looks at it, and so finally took his passport, which is another element of trust. She walks away with his passports. Finally comes back, and she had gotten a stamp for him. Not sure what happened with that. So anyway, so then we have our stamps. He was really super, super kind and super helpful, and he wasn't trying to get us arrested. He just was trying to help us. So anyway, we go back over to where our luggage was held, and then all the police were like around. They were waiting for us to come back, and they were like, "Why you need stamp? Why you need stamp?" And I was like, "Oh, military, stamp, in and out." Because, yeah, he has to have that stamp so that he can get the stamp that says he can go, that we can go in and out as much as possible without having to have a visa or whatever. We have unlimited access. So I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I'm trying to be like, thank you. And I was like, "Please don't arrest us. We just got here. Please don't arrest us." So it all got settled. We went back out the do not enter doors and then ventured to find our friend. But that was also a funny thing because we passed him. He was in the greeting area, but we didn't see him. We passed him. And the parking garage, floor 3, is actually floor 2 of the airport. So he's like, "Come to floor 3. And we're like, "We're on floor 3. And he's like, "No, you're on 4. I'm like, "No, we're on 3. It's like, "Well, wait." I saw it, and so we were going up and down in the elevator. So it was like, "I saw you pass by." I'm like, we were on 3. We went down to 1. Now we're on 2. You're not there. 3. Anyway, it was very comical. It made for great memories of our first arrival in Japan. And so we finally met up with him, and thankfully has a 4Runner. This huge 4Runner. It was beautiful. It was so nice. And thankfully, all of our luggage fit. Took us back in because we didn't have anything to eat. And he was like, "Oh, how about go to 7-Eleven and get a snack?" And so we did, and I discovered my favorite like musubi. Oh, it's like a spicy, saucy chicken musubi thing. It's so addicting. So anyway, so I got that, and then I got like a spicy tuna onigiri, and water. And so we just kind of ventured around the airport a little bit, and then ventured home. And the drive from the Tokyo airport to base is only 40 minutes. And we passed by Yokohama. We got to see beautiful Yokohama from the water. Oh, it was so amazing. Like, I didn't realize it's like going to be that close as we're passing through. And then we get to base and get to the hotel. And we're staying at the hotel that's close to the front gate, which is, it's not the front gate, but Womble Gate. Super convenient. We had a copy of the email that had all of the itemized purchases because you make a reservation for 1 month, because we're going to be lodged here for 1 to 3 months, depending how long it takes to find a house, because we have to house hunt off base. We had a 1 month reservation because you make it in 1 month increments. Go to check in, and they're like, "We don't have a reservation for you." Tiny print. It had, "This is a confirmation of your cancellation." Somehow our reservation got canceled. And I'm like, "Oh no." So thankfully they had a reservation for 1 week. They're like, "You can stay for 1 week and then you have to move." So we were going to be homeless. But thankfully we found other lodging options thanks to sweet dear friends pulling strings and making connections for us. It was a whole God thing that, we were able to get all that worked out. Then, we have our 7 humongous, like 50 pounds plus each luggage, and our 2 rollies and 2 bags. And say, "Oh, we do not have an elevator." And we're on the 3rd floor. So my husband, his friend, and his boss, and I had to lug heavy suitcases up 3 flights of stairs. And all the way to the very, 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 very end of the hall to where our room was. This is such a generous space, and it's so nice. We have no food. We don't know where anything is. It is cold outside. It was like 40 degrees. Feels like 35. We were already freezing. And then my husband's boss's wife had gone to the commissary and had picked up groceries, like 2 big bags of groceries for us to have. And it was such a blessing. Stuff for breakfast, stuff for sandwiches, stuff for snacks, and it was so sweet. I'm like, oh, so thoughtful. And he said, you know, when they arrived a year or so ago, someone did that for them. And it just made all the difference. It was really helpful. So they wanted to do it for us. I was like, oh, it was super sweet. Got settled in, hit the ground running the next day. Thank you for watching. Sincerely done.